right? Because they wouldn't have all those drug cases. And if you are afraid of so many people using drugs, then you would train those people that you fired as police that took our rights. Remember when they got all those police running in, breaking in doors and doing all that, wearing all these bulletproof helmets and carrying on, right? That's encroaching on our rights. That's why we felt freer in America doing the, hey man, I'm telling you, we're living under a big dictatorship now. We lived under racism then. We lived under segregation. But it was just black people that was segregated. But in the black neighborhood, we had stores, shops. You felt good in the black neighborhood. You don't feel that good now. You know, it's not a haven of peace. You got the dictators running around in here, shooting everybody, right? So, if they wanted to fix the black neighborhood, they would, okay? You can't fix a society as long as there's drug problems, right? The economy and none of that. Okay, legalize it. Will everybody use drugs? No, they won't. People would stop using seatbelts. People, when I grew up, everybody drank and drive. And they would, everybody I knew, like, would crash their car up, they would drink. They'd kill themselves. On Memorial Day, it'd be 25,000 people got killed that was in 55. Stuff like that. That was 100 years ago. Because everybody drank and drive. They didn't have seat belts. The cars, you ever see them old cars? They're metal inside. And when you bumped your head, you died, right? I mean, and you had the dashboard, even the fenders. Remember them old cars? You can hit a fender now and knock a hole in it since 1970. You hit them cars back in them days, your hand will swell up like a balloon. Them cars was made out of iron. They had bumpers. You could pull up behind a car and push another car 100 miles an hour. Remember that? A bumper. They had bumpers. Now, if you touch anything, the car will shatter. Right? So they said, don't drink and drive, and after a while, the advertisement, people have a designated driver. If 4 people are going out, okay, you're just gonna have to watch everybody and have a good time, but you can't drink because you're gonna be the designated driver, right? People do that. Okay, same thing with drugs and everything. You don't have to worry about drugs. All you do is good advertisement. Pretty soon, you just say, okay, if you want to get addicted to drugs, go ahead. But here's what's going to happen, you know. But just like alcohol, right? People didn't go drink up all the alcohol. They was already drunk, right, when they prohibition. So, well, what happened now? Ideas, management, control, teaching, training. So, provocateur state, let's get back to, good God Almighty, provocative, proactive, preemptive operations group that would actually carry out secret missions designed to provoke people. Counterterrorist organization with a $100 million a year budget. Goodness gracious alive. $100 million a year. And nobody, you can't find out what they spend it on. That's just, that's it. No, just do what you want to. Would essentially target terrorist leaders, but according to the documents procured by Arkin, would in fact carry out missions designed to stimulate reactions amongst terrorist groups, which according to the Defense Secretary's logic would subsequently expose them to counterattack, then they could, that's bullcrap. Intentionally result in terrorist attacks on innocent people, including Americans, essentially to combat terrorism by causing it. That's what they do now. They're causing a problem, and we're gonna fix it. That's all we talking about today. Provocateur state. U.S. drug war in Latin America also serves as a cover for ongoing counterinsurgency employing terrorist methods to achieve two aims. One, actually combating genuine insurgency. That insurgency is down there. Like the rebel groups that are communists and what have you, well, they can legally send people down there. They got 19 groups now, U.S. groups, 19 bases. I thought they had 7 bases. But 2, the ratcheting up of a strategy of tension, heightened social violence designed to induce fear amongst the citizenry and subsequently call for a greater security. Cause problems. Even black people will say we need more police. In fact, they're not going to have no defund the police, they're going to refund the police. You watch and see. What are they talking about now? More police, right? You can't hardly hear nobody. Would you turn this, that's the pin. You can't hardly hear nobody right now, this week, not 2 weeks ago, talking about defund the police. We need more police. Right? So we call it not defunding the police, but refunding the police. Purpose was again twofold: to demonize designated enemies, that is at that time the communists, and to frighten the public into supporting ever-increasing powers for the national security state. I'm just reading what we see in the news every day today. This is so that people will know this stuff is not new. We've been telling people this for decades. We've been down with this ever since the 60s. It appears the Pentagon has been implementing Gladio-style operations for quite some time, possibly including 9/11. But this is what white folks say. They get all their paperwork together and they print this. This is not any Negro press. This is all, I mean, like Squares, the LA Times and other people. Well, let's just look at some of the research right here. A.K. Gupta, Unraveling Iraq's Secret Militias, Z Magazine, May 2005. Peter Maas, Salvadorization of Iraq, New York Times Magazine, May 1st, 2005. Laila Rajiva, Pentagon, NATO option, Common Dreams, February 10th, State Watch briefing on Operation Gladio, U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff Operation Norwoods, that was back in '62. They're killing everybody in Cuba. National Archives, Army Fuel Manual. This is regular white folk stuff. Setting everybody up. This is the Abdul Malik, dear Abdul Malik, lecturer, grown at home. These are people that they set up as their speakers. I think I showed y'all this boy here, Abu Mansur al-Amriki. They call him Rapid Jihad. What are you gonna do? They're gonna call him Rapid Jihad, and they're gonna put his picture everywhere. And what you gonna do? That ain't Rapid Jihad. You know what I mean? Da, 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 da. Ah, dear. Hey, ma'am, I see that. Now this brother, they did real wrong. Anwar Awalaki, they did him wrong. He's an American citizen. They just killed him. It's another guy called himself a traitor. All these people, bunch of bull jive. They arranged, like all the imams that they have. I had a paper, but I ain't gonna show you all of them. All the Negro imams, right? Finally, they have me in the back. This is a law journal. Propagandist. That's supposed to be me. I think I'm the only one in there that might be serious. Yeah. Hezbollah support in America, identifying Hezbollah cells and participants in the U.S. Yours truly. No. We had the same policy. Imam of Oakland, California calls for Muslims to ignore Pastor Terry Jones burning the Quran. We want to do that. I said, leave him alone.
Yeah, I remember when that.
Yeah, let him go. Let him go. He'll be there, you know, with his 30 congregation, 30 people running his mouth, and poof, and people will walk on about their business. So why add fuel to the fire? You gotta make him stop. You wanna burn the Quran with your bad self, as they used to say? Yeah, get on down. Yeah, get on down now, brother. You know. Anyway, proactive, preemptive operations. Okay, provocative state. Now let's wrap it all up in bombing patterns. What are the patterns of bombings? Why, if they need some new law, somebody go bomb, what place you need to bomb to get that law put in, right? It's ridiculous. Everything the U.S. wants, it gets, right? Everything they want, they get it. That means, oh, well, probably they just lucky. I think they're lucky. That's what I was thinking. So they're very lucky that they get everything they want. Anytime they want a new bill passed, anytime they want to do war on Muslims or communists or Chinamas, they're going to do just what they need. The people going to produce what they need to get oppression on themselves. That's America. Okay, so now, here we go. So communist China is still, is Communist Party with Chinese characteristics. Whatever that is. You know, whatever that is, they got their own program. Like we have a Negro program. They couldn't come right out with Thucydides, you know, where most big powers going down have a conflict with each other. Because China is too big and too strong. China is not Japan a few years ago, where they was able to do what they did to Japan. Okay, China is not Russia. China is not Russia. Russia was a cash and carry. So they used real money. And the Afghan war, the U.S. just kept funneling money until it broke them. That's what happened. They went broke. And the Russian economy collapsed because the U.S. made them spend all of that money, right? By giving the Afghans weapons, right? To take their stuff out of the air, right? Can you imagine one shoulder-fired missile would take down $50 million plane? Yeah. Or one of them tow missiles will take out, well, they was giving them cheap stuff, $50 million tank. Abrams probably was $100 million, but they just have more. Right? They went broke. But now the same thing that they did to the Russians are doing to them. At least they say that Russians hired, gunmen to kill Americans, and Don ain't said nothing to them. They had a thing last night. Did you see the interview? Don, they said, Don, did you ask Putin about the attacks? He said, no, I asked him. What am I asking for about that? I know he ain't did it. He wouldn't do nothing like that. Don is great for whatever they want. He's good for them, that reality show mentality, that scandal after scandal, every day, no presidency could put up with it. He has a scandal every day. All day, all the time. At first, he was just doing it to get, he have a scandal today except that black woman, Omarosa, whatever her name was.
Right.
He didn't want to mess with that girl. Because, a black woman is kind of like that, got a tongue so deadly. Whatever they did, they just paid her off. You heard her, she's running for about a minute, then they cut her off. They paid her off. She'd have whooped the drawers off that boy. She'd have been talking about it. But pull that little old thing out there. It's just so, if you so, what are you talking? You know what I mean? She'd have had him crying, like big tears. And he's a white boy too. You know what I mean?
Right.
She'd have just slapped the urine out of him. And that's why you don't hear nothing from her no more. But you hear about the other people. So Don has a constant diet of chicanery. Just open chicanery. The woman that's supposed to have been helping a guy up there that was a little pedophile ring, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I hope she does well. I hope the judge is lenient with her. Whatever you're saying. Well, what about me? Or what about the brother and all the brothers? Right? You don't hope us. Well, it's ridiculous. Right? They didn't kill the man in the penitentiary up in New York. And it's obvious. It's blatant, you know what I mean? Yeah. This stuff is, they had old Barr on there yesterday. That boy, and see, basically the two sides in this is, you don't know whether it was people like Soros who were hired to destroy the Republican Party and to destroy the American scene like it is. He was hired to do that. And he's done that. We just can't pinpoint exactly who hired him. But America's credibility is gone. American dependability is gone. American production is gone. All that stuff is just long gone. Why? Because Don has done a good job. Now, they tried to bring him in to rescue America, but it was too late. The Zionists were saying, hey man, we'll get you in there. and you just, you know, hook us up. The Saudis, you say, what would the Saudis have in it? Well, the Saudis, wasn't 15 of the hijackers from Saudi Arabia? They talk about
Yeah.
28 missing pages. Nobody could leave America right after those bombings except who? People from Saudi Arabia. Right? Okay. Suppose 15 of the people would have been from Iran or Iraq. They'd have blew the place off the map, right? Just for the heck of it. Why they didn't blow up Saudi Arabia? Why would the court a couple of years ago gave Iranian money, right?
To 911 victims.
Nobody even mentioned that Iran had anything. This stuff is all ridiculous, right? So, if they brought Don in to rescue America and to play like, not Ronald Reagan, Reagan was there to play like a real president. This guy was sent there to destroy the credibility of America. He might have started out trying to act like a president, but he didn't like the script. He just went on his own. And he can't, I don't believe he can help himself. I don't believe he's all the way out to lunch like they say, but he's not supposed to learn anything. He's not supposed to acquire any knowledge. Why? Because he don't. Nobody would do the stuff that he do over and over and over again without any improvement at all. In fact, the sign of you going crazy is if you same thing over and over again and you're doing it worse.
Expecting different results.
No, that's when you're psychotic.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Why, with us now, with all of this stuff going on, why nobody, where do we fit into all of this? Something is going on.